The Affordable Care Act, the Russian Mir, and the Suez Canal are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is March 23rd, 2022. It is the 82nd day of the year. We got 283 days left. It is the 4th day of spring, and we got 90 days until summer. If today's your birthday, your birthstone is an aquamarine bloodstone or a jade. Still, today is National Near Miss Day. National Near Miss Day celebrates the day when we kind of came really close to getting destroyed by an asteroid, at least on a cosmic scale. This asteroid passed by the Earth 425,000 miles away. One astronomer described that as almost being hit by a car, and it was so close you actually felt the wind of the car go by. The good news is the next time it comes around is 2051, and it'll actually be a little further away. This time it'll be about 1.1 million miles away. Now, the big worry is in 2035, it's going to get really close, like half the distance it did last time. But hopefully we'll have some technology by then that will take care of this type of situation. All right, let's see what else March 23rd has given us. 1913, a really bad day in the United States. A tornado outbreak kills more than 240 people in the central United States, while an ongoing flood of the Ohio River watershed killed 650 people. That's a rough day. 1933, the Reichstag passes the Enabling Act of 1933, making Adolf Hitler dictator of Germany. 1977, the first of the Nixon interviews. There was a total of 12 over 4 weeks. This is a videotaped interview with British journalist David Frost, where he talked to the former United States president about the Watergate scandal and the Nixon tapes. They did a movie on this. It was pretty interesting. It was a little dull, but if you're into that stuff, it was a pretty good movie. 1983, the Strategic Defense Initiative. President Ronald Reagan makes his initial proposal to develop technology to intercept enemy missiles. It is also known as Star Wars. This becomes quite the to-do in the mid-80s. So what this was it was known as SDI, or Star Wars is what most people were calling it. This was a system that would stop nuclear weapons from hitting the United States if they were launched, let's say, from Russia, China, or whatever. And they would stop them mid-flight from different missile systems that would collide with the ballistic nuclear missile, particle beams, lasers, just all kinds of stuff that they were going to use to stop ballistic missiles from hitting the United States. Now, this really only would have worked if they were launched from the country and had plenty of time to sail towards us, but with submarines that could really park a couple miles off the United States and launch missiles from there, a lot of it became irrelevant. It also became kind of a joke because most scientists thought that the things they were talking about, like the lasers and the particle beams and all that, we were decades away from that technology being actually a viable source of defense. They were going to pour all kinds of money into this, and it was going to be very expensive, but it was meant to keep us safe, so a lot of people were on board with it. Well, everyone that didn't know anything about science was kind of on board with it. Most of the scientists were like, this is a joke. What are we talking about here? While this whole thing was being developed and they were researching the technology, a couple whistleblowers came out and kind of said that this is just a big cash grab for the defense industry. They said it was wasteful and useless, so a big study was done. The study came out and kind of proved that it was all just nonsense and we were decades away from being able to actually pull this crap off. The original budget for the SDI was close to $1 trillion. So I've seen reports where it was supposed to be between 400 million and 800 million, but most experts claim that no matter what price tag they would have given it, it was going to be over $1 trillion to actually get this done. After the study came out in 1987, kind of blew the lid off everything, and reports say the budget was cut in half. I say reports because a lot of it went under these secret things and we didn't know how much money was really going into it. Some reports say the budget was cut in half, others say it was cut down to a third, and some other ones say that it went down to 10 or 20% of its initial budget. In 1993, SDI officially ended. The Clinton administration redirected the efforts towards other ballistic missile systems. In 2019, the Trump administration kind of brought it back to life and started putting more money into a system. This time, it seems like it's actually got a chance to really be something, but in the 80s, we didn't have the technology. 2001, the Russian Mir space station is disposed of. Yeah, they let it fall to Earth and it broke up in the atmosphere. Then it fell into the South Pacific Ocean near Fiji. Every time something like that comes down, there's always all over the press that it's going to start landing on houses and stuff. And, every single time something like that comes to Earth, maybe small pieces actually fall to Earth, but most of the big things that would cause any real damage are broken up into the atmosphere. 2010, the Affordable Care Act becomes law in the United States, but it does see a bunch of different court cases over the years, and I think finally now, pretty much in the form that we have it, it's going to stay because they've kind of exhausted all the options to get rid of it, but I'm sure in the future there'll be more political challenges to it, but it really does seem like it's kind of here to stay now. Sort of like Social Security. For a long time, back when it started, a lot of people didn't want it, and it had court cases, and they tried to get rid of it many times, but it's just kind of here to stay. But who knows? Things change all the time. 2020, Prime Minister Boris Johnson put the United Kingdom into the first national lockdown in response to COVID-19. 2021, a container ship runs aground and obstructs the Suez Canal for 6 days. This really affected global commerce. Suez Canal is very important. Nobody could get by this container ship. Since then, Egypt has announced that they will widen some of the more narrow places in the Suez Canal, like where this incident happened, so they won't run into this problem again. Movies released on March 23rd, 2012, we got The Hunger Games. This was a good series. I didn't watch it when it first came out. It just didn't interest me. Then one day, it's like I was watching HBO or something like that, and I got nothing else to watch. Let's watch this. Next thing I know, I had to watch all of them. It was pretty good. The Hunger Games is based on a novel of the same name by Susan Collins. The film follows Katniss Everdeen as she goes through this televised fight to the death game like reality show they have in the future. The world that this thing takes place in is kind of strange. They've broken up all the different social classes into neighborhoods, and they put walls around each one. Well, each neighborhood has to give up like 2 people to enter this competition, and they're forced to do it. And it's a lottery system. They get picked up. It's really strange. If you ever get a chance, read the book, which I hear is amazing. I've never read the book, but the movies were pretty good. Born on March 23rd, 1953, Chaka Khan. Remember her? R&B vocalist whose version of Prince's I Feel For You is considered a hit. She was also the front woman for Rufus. She dropped out of high school to perform with Hassan Khan, who she later married. That's where she got her name, Chaka Khan. She's become known as the Queen of Funk. And just recently, or a couple of years back, she appeared on season 3 of the popular show The Masked Singer. I saw her in concert one time at Hollywood Park in California, which is no longer there. That's like the new Rams Charger Stadium. And they had a big concert there with like Wham. This is the 80s. I know I'm dating myself, but she was there. It was pretty good. Died on March 23rd, 2021. Just last year, we lost George Segal. I loved him. His movie career began with a role in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and continued various roles in comedy and drama. In 2013, he began appearing on The Goldbergs. I liked him. They did a Jim Carrey version a couple of years back, but in the 70s, he was in Fun with Dick and Jane with Jane Fonda. When I was a kid, for some reason, I thought that was the funniest movie. His second movie was one of my favorite movies of all time, 1962, The Longest Day. He played one of the Army Rangers. But in the early days of cable is when I discovered him. They had like on-subscription television, and they would only run the same movies over and over. And for a couple of years, I saw him in what I consider some really good movies. Most people won't even remember them. But like I said, Fun with Dick and Jane, The Duchess and the Dirtwater Fox with Goldie Hawn in 1976, and the movie Roller Coaster. I love that movie. I don't know why. It was about a guy who was a terrorist, and he was blowing up roller coasters while people were on it, and George Segal was trying to catch him. Very interesting movie. I loved it. Anyway, George Segal died of complications from bypass surgery in Santa Rosa, California on March 23rd, 2021. He was 87. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, and be nice to each other.